Goulburn-Murray. Well, there will certainly be plenty of people who will be heading to Bright. Well, they're in Bright already today because the Bright Women's Fly-Ins, I'm talking about paragliding, starts today and continues for the next few days. Bright local Kirsten Cito she knows paragliding better than probably you and I, and she is one of the organisers or hosting the event. Hello, Kirsten.
Hi, Sandra.
So, Kirsten, first of all, we know that the weather is going to be a little bit challenging today. Does that affect you guys and your event at all?
Not too much. We are more interested in making sure that it's not too windy. We always keep an eye out for hot conditions that might put us at risk, but it's not looking too bad for us. We're actually starting this evening after this very hot weather that's forecast for today.
Ah, very good. So tell us about what's going to happen, because this is really also about, I guess, promoting females into the sport of paragliding.
Yeah, we're quite underrepresented in paragliding. There's only about 8% of us nationally participating in paragliding, which is quite unusual. It's not a very physical sport. It is something that's quite challenging, but certainly your body strength doesn't play much of a role in it. So this is one of a series of 6 events being held this summer to try and encourage those women who are currently in the sport to meet other women, because it's quite common for them not to meet other women in the sport, and hope that forms a network that they can lean on and keep in the sport a little bit longer.
So, Kirsten, you mentioned that I guess that body strength is not what's required with paragliding. What is then? How do you steer, and how do you make sure you stay in the sky?
Yeah, well, paragliding is actually about catching updrafts of rising air. So actually during hot weather, when the ground heats up, it heats the air above it, and that creates air that is rising. So it's really more of a mental game than anything to try and predict where those rising forms of air are going to be, which are invisible to us, but we kind of work out ways to work out where to find them, and then to ride them to the cloud tops, basically, and keep doing that over and over again until we have completed sometimes a very long distance.
Wow, okay. What sort of distances?
A really good flight would be 150, 200 kilometres.
Gosh.
A good day in the saddle's probably about 50 kilometres, so yeah.
Wow, okay, that's substantial. It almost sounds, the way you're describing it, it almost sounds like it has kind of parallels with surfing, catching that wave.
It really does, for sure. Probably surfing and sailing are really good, similar sports that use the same type of mental capacity there.
You've been involved in paragliding for a while. How did you get started?
I've always loved to fly. I actually got my powered pilot's license when I was 16. And I kind of gave it up for a while because it got too expensive as a uni student. And then I just discovered paragliding about 11 years ago and thought that looked like a cheaper way to enjoy flying, and I've just been hooked ever since.
For people who are not really familiar with what paragliding is, can you explain to us how it works?
Yeah, it basically looks like a parachute, similar to a skydiving parachute. It's a little bit thinner than that. But what we do is we set ourselves up on a hill where the wind is coming up the face, and we inflate it on the hill so we don't actually move off the ground until we can see it's above our head and nicely inflated. And then we just launch off and hopefully connect with a rising column of air, and that takes us back up to cloud base.
It's quite amazing when you're talking about the distances that you travel with that. When we look at you, we think, well, you're pretty much just going down, but that's not the case at all.
No, exactly. And that's pretty much the difference between a skydiving chute. A skydiving chute is designed to get you down, and a paragliding parachute is designed to catch those updrafts and climb.
How many people are you expecting at Bright's Women's Fly-In from tonight and across the weekend?
We've got about 10 women turning up, which is quite significant. We're a bit of a fringe sport, and so the fact that there's only about 8% of us within that sport makes it quite small numbers. But when we do get together, it is really great. It's quite a unique feeling to be surrounded by other women who enjoy the fly as well.
Is it something that is interesting to watch as a spectator sport as well? I'd imagine it would be.
Yes, exactly. And in Bright, we're very lucky to have a launch Mystic, which we share with mountain bikers. It's pretty much just the heart of the town there. And we get a lot of people down at the landing zone watching us land, where we've got a lot of candidates for people who just want to experience it, just to see if it's for them. Also, we run competitions there during the summer, which is spectacular to see something like 120 gliders in the air at the one time.
Kristen, if we want to have a look, when, where, how do we see what's going on?
Yeah, well, just come down to Bright. If you ask around town where the paragliders are, anyone in town will be able to point you in the right direction. And you're more than welcome to come and have a little picnic down at the landing zone and watch us all come in.
Kirsten Cito, who is a paraglider and hosting this terrific event as well. Thanks so much for your time. You're at an airport, I think, are you, at the moment?
I am, yes. Sorry about that.
It's live radio. That's fine. Well, you have a good flight and then have some good flights as well.
Great. Thanks for chatting with us.
Good on you. Thanks. Kirsten Cito, who is one of the hosts of the Bright Women's Fly-Ins, which gets underway tonight and then continues right across the weekend until Sunday. So pretty big event, and certainly something that would be well worth looking up to have a look at. On ABC Goulburn-Murray, Sandra Moon with you. It is 8 to 7.